What's happening, everyone? Today I'm going to be telling you guys the top 10 weirdest and most random facts. Now before I get into it, I just want to say this is my opinion. I'm sure there's tons of really weird facts out there. In fact, I actually know of more than just 10 because I did a good amount of research. But these 10 really popped out at me. But if you do know something more strange, I want you to let me know in the comment section down below. And speaking of comments, stick around to the very end where I'll answer some of your comments. So with number 10, the sun is 330,330 times larger than the earth. It's not weird that it's bigger, but it's weird that that number is so precise. I mean, it's literally just the same number twice. Could have been any possible size and it had to be that precise and exact number? That's in terms of weight. In terms of radius, the sun is about 109 times larger than the earth. The diameter of the sun is approximately 864,948 miles, while the diameter of earth is only 7,926 miles. Still pretty crazy. Number 9 is Casu Masu. It's a Sardinian sheep milk cheese that is rotten before consumed. On top of that, it's crawling with live maggots. As crazy as it sounds, it's actually a real thing and it's quite dangerous because if you eat maggots, well, they may decide to live in you and that's no good. So the European Union banned the sale of the cheese. However, farmers in Sardinia, Italy still sell it on the black market. And if you are brave enough to eat it, well, cover your eyes because these maggots have been reported to jump directly into your eyes up to 6 feet. It's made in about 3 months time by heating some sheep's milk, letting it go bad for 3 weeks, and then taking the crusty part off, which is even more disgusting, and finally leaving it in a dark hut so that flies lay their larvae, also known as maggots, in the cheese. As the larvae eat the cheese and digest it and pass it through their body, they leave a flavorful texture to the cheese. So you're eating larva poop and larva covered rotten cheese. Also, if the maggots are dead, the cheese is officially unsafe to eat. Go figure. Number 8 made me question my childhood. I feel like I've been lied to, and now you will too. Number 8 is that nowhere in the Humpty Dumpty nursery rhyme does it ever say that Humpty Dumpty is an egg. The entire nursery rhyme goes, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. So why is he an egg? Well, apparently when the rhyme was first created, it was a riddle. And the answer to that riddle would be an egg or something of that sort. An item that if broken would be impossible to put back together. Other reports claimed Humpty Dumpty was actually a cannon used by royalists during the English Civil War. Apparently the wall under his cannon was blown up, causing Humpty Dumpty to break, with no chance of the king's men to fix it. Either way, Humpty Dumpty isn't necessarily an egg. Weird. This has got to be one of the strangest ways to die. God rest this man's soul, but this is kind of crazy. Number 7 is the story of Hans Steininger's death. Hans died from tripping on his own beard while trying to escape a fire. There are 2 reports. He tripped, snapped his neck and died, while other reports say that he tripped and was burned alive. Either way, it was an awful death, but it was the odd way that he died that grabbed my attention. He was known to have one of the longest beards of all time, coming in at 4.5 feet or 1.4 meters. He would usually roll it up and keep it in a leather pouch. Regardless of what happened to him, the fact that he died while tripping on his 4.5-foot beard is kind of bizarre. I think it's even crazier than people who died from selfies, but that number is much higher than it should be too. Number 6 is a little crazier than the last few. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but this is... In 2007, an American man named Corey Taylor faked his own death in order to get out of his cell phone contract. Why? Well, just so he wouldn't have to pay a fee. In the middle of his 2-year contract with Verizon, Taylor said enough was enough and he wanted out. The dropped calls and broken phones were a big part of that. So he told them that he wanted out and they told him there's a fee of $175. Well, obviously the logical thing to do here is not pay the fee and fake your own death. Have your friend fax your fake death certificate to Verizon and you're golden. So that's what this guy did and it actually worked. Then somehow he got caught and had to pay the fee. But the fact that he went through all that trouble just so he wouldn't have to pay a fee and then still had to end up paying that fee, I gotta say, some people truly do amaze me. Number 5 is Scotland's national animal, the unicorn. Now I don't mean to offend anyone of Scottish descent, but this is kind of crazy. I mean, Canada has a moose, America has an eagle, you know, strong types of animals. But a unicorn? It's not even real. So how did this come to be? Well, it dates all the way back to the 12th century. So there's stories that a unicorn visited a body of water poisoned by a snake and purified the water by dipping its horn into it, making the water safe for other creatures. On top of that, it was believed that the unicorn was the biggest rival to both the lion and the elephant. The unicorn came to be the national animal when King Robert III was in power, and it hasn't been changed ever since. Number 4 will mostly affect the ladies, but maybe some guys too. Well, really anyone who kisses anyone. And it's also kind of gross. Most lipstick contains fish scales. The reasoning behind this is to give your lips a shiny look, similar to that of pearls. Fish scales reflect some of the light that it hits, while the rest of the light travels to other scales in the lipstick. To know if you've been throwing fish scales on your lips, you gotta check your lipstick for the ingredient guanine. That's all there is to it. And just to make you think twice about everything you know, nail polish, more specifically those that have a gold or silver metallic shine to it, contains not only guanine, but also pieces of beetles, like the bug. This other ingredient is called carmine. So check all your makeup, and if you don't like beetles or fish scales, everything with guanine or carmine is a big no. Into the top 3, things start to get a little weird here. So here goes. The King of Hearts in a normal deck of cards has no mustache, and it's the only one without a mustache. Now I know you probably won't believe me, so go look it up. I'll wait right here. And if that's not weird enough, he's also the only king that isn't holding his weapon in front of him. In fact, he's actually holding that weapon to make it look like he's stabbing himself in the head. Because of this, he's also been nicknamed the Suicide King, but there's rumors that he was depicted after a French king who actually committed suicide. It's a mystery that is yet to be solved, and who knows if anyone will ever actually have the real reason as to why. Weird. Number 2, honey lasts forever. It's actually one of the only items that we eat that does not go bad. Of course, there's salt, sugar, dry rice to name a few that don't necessarily perish, but I'm talking about something that you would open up and just eat just like that. The science behind this is that it has the perfect mixture of acidity, barely any water, and no moisture. Because of this, honey is not a livable environment for any sort of bacteria, which is why it will outlive you and future generations. With that being said, if you were to leave a jar of honey unsealed, it would go bad because of the moisture and bacteria floating around. So it's not completely resistant to spoiling, but if you were to stumble upon a jar of honey from a few hundred years ago, or even 1,000 years ago, you'd technically still be able to indulge. This one really gets you thinking, and there really is no answer to it. It just is because. You may want to be sitting down for this one, because I don't think you're ready. Coming in at number 1, possibly the weirdest fact ever. The brain named itself. What? Say what? Although this has been disputed, saying it took multiple people to agree upon a name, the truth is the brain is the one to come up with the word. Somehow, some way, that's what I want it to be called. Now, for all we know, it could have been named something else before, and no one knows, but there's really not much evidence of anything. Which makes sense, because how could you prove who named the thing that creates the name in the first place? It sounds confusing, and just thinking about it kind of gives me a headache. Maybe the brain doesn't want us to find out its origin, because if we do, we could overcome it. Either way, look into it if you're curious. It just might make you question your existence. Alright guys, those were my top 10 weirdest facts. Let me know which ones were your favorites, and drop me a comment down below of any facts that you know. Now I'm going to be answering some of your questions that we did in another video. The Trippy Atheist said, Jared, do you drink vodka? I guess the simple answer is yes, but not on a regular basis. Austin Lim said, what is your biggest fear? For anyone. Well, Austin, I think probably spiders. Yeah. Like I'm kind of scared of spiders. I'm like somewhat over that fear. Like I'll kill a spider if I see one, but the thought of them crawling on me just freaks me out. And lastly, a lot of you guys said that the Joker isn't scary, and you were surprised that the Joker was at number 1. Well, truthfully, I put the Joker there not only because the character itself looks scary, but the fact that the idea of the character possibly caused an actor, a real human being, to drive himself to go insane and actually kill himself. Although that has been disputed that Heath Ledger did commit suicide because he went insane, the fact that that's even a theory, I mean, that's scary enough in itself. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed the video. You gotta make sure to drop me a comment down below so I can answer it in the next video, and I will see you soon.